Hello student, I have come to today I'll discuss the another part of the data science, the second part of the data science related to data wrangling, data cleaning and preparation. Before the data cleaning and data preparation, we need to discuss about the how can you deal with the large amount of the data. So today I'll discuss about the what are the issue faced during handling the large size of the data. How can you deal with the large size of the data? This I will discuss today. Suppose if normally if you want to download the open source data, there is the last class I discussed. So you can also you can access the huge data set from the open source, right? So if you want to access the open source data, normally these data sets will be very large. Okay, so it's very difficult to handle those data set. So whenever if you see also in a normal time, if you download the huge amount of the software, so when you download those things, so it has the problem related to storage capacity. The system also got hanged. Right, so you need some extra storage for that for downloading those size of the data, right? Size of the data. So there will be a storage issue, and if you want to resize the your laptop capacity, so for that you need some money, right? So for that there will be a cost issue, right? And the speed is also one of the problem that. Speed is also one of the problem. So you can see that if you want to download the normal software also, so when you download those things, there will be a processing speed issue. So system will get hang and it will say like that you cannot download, that this memory is not sufficient, like this. So the speed is also reduced. So if you want to copy the data, huge amount of the data, the speed will be also less due to the your computer does not have this much capacity, this much processing power and speed to handle those data. Memory management, you need extra external hardware for handling those data. And the data transfer also, so if you download the data, after that if you want to share the data with others, so there will be the network issue, network problem, more higher bandwidth is also required. So if we have the huge amount of data, there will be a large number of missing values and errors will be there. So data quality and cleaning is more data quality and more cleaning is required. These are the some issues. Apart from that, if you want to visualize those data, you need to very difficult to understand. If you after visualizing those data, if you have the lots of data and lots of columns and variables are there. Due to the network and the storage capacity and the computing process, the cost is also more for handling those and large amount of data, right? So these are the some facts we used to face when we want to deal with the large amount of data. Okay, so this large amount of data is mainly required when we are dealing with the deep learning. So we'll face this kind of the issue when we are handling the large amount of data. So how can you deal with those large amount of the data? There are some process and protocols. We can use some algorithm. We can store the data is like a different data structure format. We can also use some tools before pre-processing the data into the model. So there are some processes. Some online learning algorithms are there for handling those data. So I'll discuss one by one. So first, before going to the algorithm, first I would like to discuss about the data structure format. So when you come to the some algorithm, some process, there are some process for handling those data. So there is one big clause thing is there, which is related to the Python library that is used for compressing the data. If you have the data, so using the big clause library, you can compress those amount of data and you can use those compressed data, the large data. So DEX is one of the process for so suppose there are some calculations and if you use the DEX, such kind of the arithmetic operation will be performed for various data sets. So some data sets are divided into multiple parallel processing. So when you want to perform some calculation parallelly, it will be performed for all the data set. right? So you can so your data set can be divided into multiple parts. After that, you can do some mathematics operation in the DAX. And MapReduce means that is used for parallel processing. Okay, so using MapReduce, suppose the data set, the random data are available. You want to make some data, you want to do some operation for a particular column, and you want to do the different operation for a different column. So you are dividing your data set into multiple batch processing or parallel processing. At the same time, you can do the various operation for corresponding to different column. So this process is called the map reduce, the parallelism and the distributive processing. So this also you can do when you are dealing with a large amount of the data. Right data structure, right algorithms are required if you want to manipulate those data also. So create, read, update, delete if you want to do, you can use the right data structure. So there is one sparse matrix. Suppose in your data set, huge amount of data are not available. So, but if this data are not available, this data can use the space in your data set. Okay, but if you convert your data into the sparse matrix, whenever you don't have the data, it will be the size will be considered as a zero space, and whenever you have the data will be considered as a 1 and other space will be considered as a 0. Okay, so it is used for wasting the space. If you reduce the space, the size automatically will be reduced. So you can see in the below there is sparse matrix is somewhere you can see 1 and other spaces you can see 0. That means whenever you are putting 0 in those spaces, wherever you don't have any numbers or any elements, okay, so those only considered as a, so if you put the 0, their space will be reduced. Okay, the size of this matrix will be reduced. Whenever you are not converting the new data set into sparse matrix, if there is in any row and in a column there is no data, it will consume the memory. But if you convert into the sparse matrix, it will not consume the memory, so it will reduce the memory for that purpose. And wherever you have the data, you are considering as a 1. Whenever you don't have the data, these are considered as a 0 element. So tree, if your data set, if you organize as a hash table or the tree structure, it will be more easy to manipulate those data. So you are going to use the panda for manipulating those data, but if your data set is formed in the form of the hash table on the tree structure, it will be more easy for accessing those data. The process for retrieving those data is also fast. Okay. So you can store the data like a tree, like suppose some conditions are there and age greater than 12, some values will be like that, and age greater than 17, corresponding to the age greater than 17, values will be like that. So if you want to retrieve some data, with the help of the tree structure, you can easily retrieve the data. Okay, so it will, for fast processing, you can store the data in the tree structure format. Hash table is also like in dictionary format in the Python. So if you store the data in a dictionary format, like some key will be there, corresponding to the key, some values will be there. So if you want to access those values, you can use the key, and it is also again fast processor for accessing the value with the help of the key. So the hash table also can use for storing the data. And apart, so what are the tools and the algorithms you can use apart from the normal Python, NumPy, and the Panda for dealing with the huge amount of the data? The Cython. Cython means by name only you can understand that the Cython, the consist of the Python as it is the extended version of the Python. It's like a C performance. Okay, so both combinations are there. This also the compiler time is fast as compared to the normal Python. If we use the Cython, so this is the one of the process. Instead of Python, you can use Cython for dealing with the large amount of the data. And expire, that means the numpy is used for the numerical operation. So the numerical expression, this is the another version of the numpy which is many more faster than the original numpy. So when you are dealing any mathematical operation with the huge amount of data, rather using the numpy, you can use the num express expr. Number is also like the Python compiler version. Instead of executing in the software level, it can be executed in the machine level. Okay, so if anything is deal with the machine level, this is more faster as compared to the software level, right? So number is also for compiling time, you can use the number for getting the higher speed. Blow Because, and this I have already discussed in the first slide. Blizzard is also like a if want to data manipulation, if want to do the data manipulation, so you can use the various functions in the under the Python. So your data will be stored like this way. Rather using the Python code, you can use the SQL code, type SQL kind of the code for doing the data manipulation, right? So this the Beeless is related to the SQL query for dealing with the data manipulation. Theano, that is normally used for the deep learning and the scientific computing. So if you have the graphical processor unit and you need the higher speed, so you can use the Theano for dealing with the deep learning mechanism. So this is also computational library. If you have the n-dimensional array, so for that you can use the Theano. That's also I have already discussed the parallel computing processor. That is used for the parallel computing processor. So you can use this kind of the tools for dealing with the larger amount of the data, for increasing the speed of the processor, for reducing the size of the memory. For those purposes, you can use those things. I need to discuss some other thing. So, apart from the using the right tools, what are the things you need to remember when you deal with the higher amount of the data? Okay, so data you divide into multiple CSV file. Okay, so if you want to operate, if you want to do the particular operation, you divide the data set into multiple chunk, and the parallel you do the operation. So this the break the data into chunk, use the data. So if you want to store the data, better you use the data, store the data in the CSV file as compared to the Excel sheet and text file. It is the most preferable file format. And if you want to deal with the various kind of the machine learning library, better use the scikit-learn, which is associated with the machine learning library for dealing with the large amount of the data. And so whenever you are doing many operation using the Panda, you are not maximum time used to do the copy, and when you drop element, the two more Panda used to create it. So extra column will, if you want to drop any column, if you want to create any extra column, so more number of column may be created. So you have to do such kind of the operation where the not extra number of the data frame should not be created. The whenever you have created the data, the same data frame, all of the operation will be happen. Optimized algorithm. So rather writing the five set of instructions, you can use one set of instruction if you want to write any code related to Python. Whenever you want to do any operation in the data set. Okay. So you need to optimize the algorithm. Suppose the uh, lambda function is used sometime for rather writing the multiple set of code, you can use the only one line of code. The AND editor is also and the editor is also used for rather using the three number of for loops. You can also use the one for loop for an editor. So various kind of the syntax of the algorithm you should remember for dealing with the huge amount of the data. Batch processing, this I have already discussed, and before sending the data into the model, you need to pre-process the data, you need to clean the data. This duplicate data, huge amount of memory wasted, missing value. So you need to convert sometime the missing value into the sparse matrix. You have to remove the duplicate values also. So this way you can reduce the size of the data set.